this leader today, everybody. Center yourselves. Welcome members, friends, visitors bringing other visitors, and to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Pottstown. As I said, I'm Mary. I'm the service presenter this morning. The lovely Carly Shell is our pianist, as always, who I owe a debt of gratitude for not getting the songs to her until late yesterday afternoon. So thank you. Justine Braun is our tech person, and Chloe Murdoch will. We believe that every person matters, and that diversity is a gift, and we must share it and spread it. It's a good thing. It should be celebrated. As every one of us in here comes from a different background, and we came here for a different reason. But for some reason, this group, we found ourselves together this morning. And everybody brings new ideas and new perspectives to this place. And sometimes you go, I don't know, but most of the time, it's a really cool idea. Why didn't we think of that? So we love to see new faces. So no matter why you have come here, who you have come here with, we are so glad that you've decided to join us this morning. Now, I'll let you know, if you're new, you kind of, because we have different voices up here every month. Sometimes they're like me, who's a member of the fellowship, who's doing the service. We have a minister that comes in every first Sunday. We have Reverend Kim Wilson, and she comes and joins us. And then quarterly, we have a couple of other ministers come in. So we will see familiar faces, but we all bring a different voice. So we hope to touch you in some way. So whoever you are, wherever you come from, and whomever you love, we are so glad to have you with us today. And of course, big deal is afterwards in the back in the social hall, we'll have coffee and munchies for everybody. Now is the time for announcements. If anybody has an announcement, please come up to the front.
Hi, I'm Linda. It is that time where I will be placing an order for giant cards. For those of you who don't know, purchasing giant cards in the fellowship is a real easy fundraiser for us. And how it works is if, let's say you buy $100 giant card from us, we only paid $95. So your $100 basically made us $5. Like I said, if you shop at Giant and beer, whatever you might like, you can use those Giant cards there. So if you'd like to order some, we're coming. Thank you.
Hello there, my name is Clifford, and yesterday we did a cooking demo right here in the kitchen. There was a big fundraiser for the church. That was all really successful. I took apart a whole turkey and cooked it a number of different ways, showing how you can do different things with just this one unsuspecting little turkey. And, all kinds of braised meat. Also, there was a stuffed rolled breast that I sliced up, told that we'll have afterwards. So I think quarterly we'll see some more cooking demos. I think next time might be a seafood chowder demonstration. So keep an eye open for the announcement coming on that.
Thank you.
Down the lots of them in the church.
Hi, I'm Diane Evans. I am high priestess of the leadership of the Awakening Covenant in our local area. We are hosting a Yule ritual here in the sanctuary on Saturday, December 9th. The gathering is going to be at 6, with the ritual starting at 7, ending around 8. So everyone is welcome to come. You are welcome to bring whoever you like, the more the merrier. And there will be more information about that coming, but I wanted to give you all a chance to put it on your calendar.
Okay, now's the time to put our phones to silent and listen to the chimes that call us into service. It is amazing how long that lasts. Okay, Chloe. Now's the time for our chalice lighting, one of the few rituals we have in Unitarian Universalism, but we do light our chalice every Sunday. This morning, it is by the Reverend Sherry Woodbury, and she's the minister of the First UU Church of Omaha. Part of the Spirit, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love, alive in all creation. As we kindle this flame, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life. Thank you, ma'am. And now, please stand as you're willing and able. Oh, no, sorry about that, Pete. Stay seated, and hymn number 123, The Spirit of Life, and it's also up on the screen. Our opening words are by Reverend Arlen Goff of the High Street UU Church in Macon, Georgia. The title is Thresholds. Thresholds. We cross them every day, from room to room, from outside to inside, and back again. From here to there, from anywhere to everywhere, from age to age. Each threshold offers an opportunity for change, for renewal, for transformation, from what we were and what we are to what we can be. In this hour and in this place, we cross a threshold from our day-to-day everydayness into space and time attuned to the other, to the sacred, to the holy, to an awareness of new life pregnant with possibility. How will we be renewed in this moment? How will we be changed by this hour? How will we be transformed through this gathering of beloved community? Come you longing, thirsty souls. Come, let us worship together. And now, our opening hymn, 131. This one you can stand up. I've got Peace Like a River, number 131. Linda might recognize that picture. That was on our trip down to the Amazon. Now is the time. Miss Megan will be coming up, and all the kids come up, and you can grab a mat so you don't have to sit on the cold floor or not, whatever you want to do. And she'll do our story for all ages.
So today we're going to be reading Binny's Diwali. Binny woke up happy but nervous. It was her day to share about Diwali, the festival of lights. Since her class was learning about different celebrations, her teacher, Mr. Boomer, asked her to talk about her favorite holiday. Last month, Sarah talked about Rosh Hashanah, and today it was Binny's turn. She hoped everything would go just as her and her teacher planned. Binny started getting ready for school. She smiled as she noticed the Indian outfit Mom and Dad had laid on her chair. Maybe it was the perfect day to wear her new blue suede shoes for good luck. Binny turned around and got a glimpse of her mom looking so beautiful in the bright red silk sari Dad bought her for Diwali. Everybody went shopping for Diwali. Kids got new clothes and toys, parents bought each other jewelry, and friends exchanged gift baskets filled with cakes and sweets and nuts. Wearing her new clothes, Binny ran downstairs for breakfast. Instead of cereal, Mom and Dad had a treat for her. A warm jalees, orange discs of sweetness that melted in her mouth when she bit into them, and soft, milky peras that crumbled in her mouth and made her lick her lips. Dad pecked the rest for her class. May the words you speak be as sweet as the jabbies and as soft as the peras. Mom drove Binny to school. Remember to tell them all about the oil lamps, she told Binny as she kissed her goodbye. Good luck, Bin. You will do great. After morning circle time, Mr. Boomer called Binny's name. But when she stood up before the class, terrible things began to happen. Suddenly, she felt so shy and scared. Her mind went blank. Some children began to giggle, others fidgeted, not knowing what to do. Today is Diwali, Binny said nervously. Dahu, yelled Timmy. The teacher stood up and gave the sign for quiet. Binny didn't want to share her favorite holiday with her friends, but she couldn't find the words. Mr. Boomer put a kind hand on her shoulder. Take a deep breath, he whispered. I know you can do this. Just then, Binny remembered what her mom told her about the lamps. To celebrate Diwali, people light little oil lamps called diyas and put them in their front doors to guide good luck into their homes and chase away the darkness. All over the world, Diwali marked the victory of the goddess of light. Binny now knew what to say. Diwali is the festival of lights. It is a Hindu holiday that lasts 5 days and it celebrates the victory of goddess and hope. She told them about the fireworks and how they whistled through the air and burst like stars in the night, leaving streaks of gold, red, and green. She described the sparklers Dad lit in the yard and how she made figure eights with them, and the golden sparks opening like a flower. Mr. Boomer brought over the streamers that Binny had made. She took out some colorful glitter and asked Juliet and Aisha to help make them brighter. The class gathered around Mr. Boomer's desk, and Binny handed him a tiny electric clay dial. The teacher turned it on, the small light flickering looked so pretty that all the children oohed and awed. Vinny told them that if on Diwali you looked down from an airplane, you would see this city shining bright like a diamond, light shimmering everywhere you looked. She made them close their eyes and imagine the dark sky with a million twinkling lights and stars. Diwali is a magical time for children everywhere. Vinny had one more thing to show them, the best thing of all. She took out the bags of colored powder, red, blue, yellow, purple, green, and orange. She sprinkled them onto the floor. First, she drew a flower with the powdered chalk. Then she used it to write Happy Diwali to all. The children started clapping. Vinny went to her desk and came out with the box of pears and jalebis, one for each student in the class, and Mr. Boomer too. They ate every last crumb of sweets and smacked their lips in delight. Romeo raised his hand. How many festivals are there in the world? He asked. Vinny smiled. Thousands of them, and they are all beautiful in their own way. Mr. Boomer leaned over to Vinny and said, "Great job." She was grinning from ear to ear. Vinny walked home from that day celebrating her own victory of goddess in light. The spirit of Diwali was real. The story of the oil lamps had chased away her fears. Everyone loved Diwali, this wonderful festival of lights.
Okay, let's sing the children to class, number 413. Yesterday was November 11th, and that was Veterans Day, when we honor those who fought in our nation's wars. The date comes from the end of the First World War on November 11th, 1918. Unlike Memorial Day, where we honor those who sacrificed their lives, Veterans Day is about those who came home. They are the men and women who bear both the visible and the invisible scars of war, of watching their friends die, and in many cases having to kill. We don't like to think about it like that, but that's what war is. As we are seeing every day from Ukraine and Israel, and then there are those that we're not paying attention to, much smaller fights all around the world. I read somewhere years ago, where in the entire recorded history of man, there are only 16 years without a war in the world somewhere. And I know none of them are in my lifetime. I had 3 combat veterans in my immediate family: my father, his brother, and their father. And I was lucky enough to have them all come home. If Grandpa and Dad hadn't come home, I wouldn't be here. As some of you in here know, my dad was in the tank in the 1st Armored in Italy in World War II. His brother flew B-17 bombers over Germany, and their father was in the trenches in France in World War I. I'm wearing Grandpa's ID bracelet. It has a different name on it, and that's a whole other story and a mystery about the family that we'll never solve. I also have Grandpa's Purple Heart, or I should say Purple Hearts. He had 3 of them. The first time they just give you the medal, and then the next after that they give you little clover leaves or little oak leaves to put on the medal to show. And he's got the medal and 2 oak leaves. And one of my most prized possessions is the diary kept during the war. A little tiny thing, about this big, and it's stored in his old uniform pocket. Here is his entry for July 4th, 1918. Well, and it's not pretty, but well, I got mine. Shrapnel in the knee. Lieutenant Howard and 16 of myself and Sheehan, only ones alive. Wish I could hide this diary. Hell must have broke loose in the German lines. God, it's awful. Captain Carr getting faced by a grenade. He laughed at me when I got into the truck. I feel pretty good, lost some blood. The last entry for November 5th is I am almost sick from gas. We got trapped last night, caught us in some wire. I can't write anymore. I am losing my eyesight. And I have the gas mask, and you can pull it out very delicately and actually see where it failed. Dad was wounded in 1945. The shrapnel started working his way out of his leg 30 years later. But he never applied for the Purple Heart. And the reason was that day, his best friend was killed the same day, and he didn't think he deserved it. And that best friend was from here in Lancaster. Grandpa died when I was 5, and Dad never talked about what happened in the war. I just know snippets of things and have read books, but it's not really possible to comprehend what they went through. Mom had a letter from one of his buddies, where he wrote, "Not many people would have survived what Howard did." We have no idea what he was talking about, and we never will. The thing is, those stories are not unique. Every single soldier has a story, many stories, and most of them are not shared, except maybe with other soldiers. Post-traumatic stress disorder is real, and I've seen it up close and personal. When I first came here, we had 3 World War II veterans, Donald Peterson, Jim Daly, and Jim Hamlin. I know Jim Hamlin was in a submarine in the South Pacific. Emily's husband, Clayton, will soon be coming up on his 25 years in the reserves, and he has done several tours overseas in the Middle East. So when I see anyone wearing a veteran's cap saying, hey, they were a veteran, I always thank them. And it scares me that so much of what my family members and all the other soldiers fought for seems to be fading from memory. I saw just this morning, I think we're down to 130 or 120 World War II veterans are dying each day. The number used to be 5,000. So we're coming to the end. But when we fade from memory, it's what happens when we forget. And we try to rewrite history. So remember our veterans, not just November 11th, but every single day of the year. And now we have our offering where we pay our bills. And UUFP, we've been able to say we just celebrated birthday 56 last month. We didn't know we were, but we did it. We use our time and our talent to keep this building going and our building and grounds. But now we're asking for just a tiny little bit of treasure, if you would. So thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity. Now we have our sermon hymn, number 346. Come sing a song with me. I think I got it right this time. right, my service is done because she read the book. We've got a little more going. But one of the comments that's written on the survey that we have in every Sunday's order of service is that and it came in more than once, that folks would like to see hear about other celebrations and festivals that are celebrated by other religions and around the world. So a couple of weeks ago, I did the Mexican Day of the Dead. And today it's about the Indian festival Diwali. Now, warning. The Aztec words in the Mexican Day of the Dead, I can do those easy because I grew up learning how to pronounce them. These, not so much. So I am going to apologize in advance for all the lousy pronunciation of the various words in here. I wish I had some of my Indian coworkers with me to whisper in my ear and say no, but I don't. So my first exposure to Diwali was while I was working at a local pharmaceutical company. And we had hired a contracting firm to do a lot of our IT work, and that contracting firm out of India. And after about 2 or 3 years, as people are getting to know each other better and feel more comfortable, they said, we're gonna have a Diwali festival. And it started out in a small conference room with a table full of sweets and some rice and some other dishes, but mostly sweet things. And they brought their wives in and their husbands in, and we got to meet families, and it was lovely. As the time passed, this grew and grew and grew. And the last one I was at was in what looked like kind of a boardroom with a table that's wider than my arms and huge long things. Linda probably knows what I'm talking about. And full of food. And I don't know how many people were in there, but we had a wonderful party, and there were all these pictures streaming up on the screen. And so I asked one of the fellows, I think it was Ranjit, that I said, well, what's this all about? And the answer was, it's about life, family, and food. Not particularly helpful answer, because although at the high level, it's exactly what it's about. So once again, we head out to Google. Diwali is one of India's, you could say one of the world's largest festivals. It's celebrated by more than 1 billion people of different religious faiths. And it symbolizes the victory of light over darkness, good over evil, and knowledge over ignorance. It's primarily thought of as a Hindu holiday, but is also celebrated by the Jains, G-A-I-N-S, Sikhs, and newer Buddhists. It's a different group than just Buddhists, it's newer Buddhists. But it's also just become a wider celebration of Indian culture. And each group puts their little spin on it, much the way the Day of the Dead is celebrated in different ways in different places around Mexico and the rest of the world. But homes are illuminated, sort of like we light up our homes during Christmas. Oil lamps, candles, and lanterns are used to light up the homes, temples, and workplaces. And Hindus have a ritual oil bath at dawn of each day of the festival. And special designs, like the one that was shown in the book, are used to decorate floors in homes. And fireworks are everywhere, although, because they cause fires and pollution, those are being cut back a little bit too. And of course, because a celebration is not a celebration, there's food, and then more food, and a little more food, and lots of sweets. I have to have a little aside here, but some of those sweets are not chocolate. India is one of the places in the world where they really don't have a lot of chocolate. It's different kinds of sweets. It's a time for visiting family and friends and exchanging gifts, wearing new clothes. It's also a time for feeding the poor, and where whole communities come together for different activities, events, and gatherings. such as food fairs, parades, music, dance, entertainment, or some combination of all of them. In some areas, people play card games, such as a game called Team Patty, and then we have blackjack and poker. Gambling during the holiday is considered to ensure good luck during the coming year. It is in remembrance of the games of dice between Shiva and Parvati on Mount Kailasa, and I'm not going to explain who all these folks are, or we could hear all more, in honor of the goddess Lakshmi. And in honor of the goddess Lakshmi, the female always wins. So in other words, somehow they're rigged. As with the Day of the Dead, the beginnings are a smidge fuzzy. You know, when things get that old, it's like, okay, well, we think this is how it started. It began as part of an ancient harvest festivals, is the most thought answer. And it's mentioned in Sanskrit texts as far back as the 7th century, when a 7th century Sanskrit play is mentioned by the Emperor Harsha. And the play talks about lamps being lit and a newly engaged couple being given gifts. And Diwali comes from the Sanskrit word Diwali, Dipavali, and it means row of lights. And it's actually a 5-day celebration, and it takes place in the fall after the end of the summer harvest. And it runs from the 13th day of the dark half of the lunar month, Ashvina or Ashwin, to the 2nd day of the light half of the lunar month, Kartika. That's according to the Encyclopedia Britannica. It usually falls in mid to late October to mid-November on our calendar. The main day is the 3rd one, and that, as luck would have it, is today, November 12th. And per CNN, one of the legends at the heart of Diwali comes from the Hindu epic, the Ramayana. You know, you practice, it still doesn't work. During the exile of Prince Rama, an incarnation of the god Vishnu, and his wife Sita, who are the incarnation of the goddess Lakshmi. Sita is kidnapped by the demon king Ravana. Rama ultimately defeats Ravana to rescue his wife. And for some Hindus, Diwali marks this rescue and their triumphant return after 14 years of exile. Some Hindus in southern India celebrate Lord Krishna's defeat of Narakasura, which led to the rescue of 16,000 girls in the demon's captivity. In Western India, Diwali commemorates the day that Lord Vishnu banishes the demon king Bali to rule the netherworld. Sikhs commemorate the occasion as Bandi Tor Divas, the Day of Liberation. It marks the day that Guru Hargobind and their 6th guru and 52 Hindu kings were freed from wrongful imprisonment. What had happened was Hargobind and 52 different kings were being held captive by a man named Yanhir. Yanhir had said he would free Hargobind and anybody who could hold on to his cloak. So Hargobind tied 52 tassels to his cloak, and every single one of those 52 captive kings held onto it and walked out to freedom. For Jains, Diwali signifies the day of Lord Mahavira and their last spiritual leader, that when he attained physical death and achieved enlightenment. And some Buddhists, the newer Buddhists, acknowledge Diwali as the day the Emperor Ashoka embraced Buddhism. As I said, it's actually spread out over 5 days. Each one has a different day and is dedicated to something different. And each one has different celebrations all around. And I'm going to give the Cliff Notes version, okay? as I was writing that, I'm like, okay, I wonder how many people now remember Cliff's Notes. Okay, better than I thought. By the way, those were in Lincoln, Nebraska. The first day is called, and we still weren't allowed to use it. Yeah. The first day is called the Hantra Terrace. It's marked by purchasing small gold and silver jewelry and utensils and cleaning the utensils for the house and things and cleaning your house. They're thought this will bring good luck. And they also do it to invite the blessings of Lakshmi. She is the goddess of wealth and prosperity. Others honor different gods, and one who's the god of death on this day. It's seen as a symbol, it's their new year, it's the end of their calendar, we're turning to a new year. The day is seen as a symbol of annual renewal, cleansing, and an auspicious beginning of this new year. And those small earthen lights called diyas are placed in the house. And there's not just one, they can be, well, it could be one, but there can be all kinds all over the place and like put out in a pattern throughout the house. The second day is called Choti Diwali. And it marks the defeat of our demon king that had him. And on this day, you're supposed to wake up early, bathe, and wash your hair. It's also a time to finish that house cleaning that didn't get done yesterday. And start decorating with fabrics and designs and start making all the sweets because we're coming up on day 3. Prayers are offered to the souls of ancestors. And it's believed that spirits roam around on this night. And Human, who is the deity of power, strength, and protection, is worshipped and to seek some protection from bad spirits. Now, we come to today, the third day, Diwali. And it's what we think of as Diwali, it's just today usually. And it's when families gather together, exchange gifts, have a wonderful meal topped off by all those special treats. And it's the last day of the dark fortnight of Ashwin. Businesses are closed or close early, and small business owners give gifts or special bonuses to their employees. In the evening, everybody puts on those new clothes that they bought. And the women put on their saris and their jewelry. And it is the feast day. And it's the day with the fireworks, and the homes are really lit up. All the lanterns and things that have been inside are brought outside the house. And that night, many Hindus worship the goddess Lakshmi. They seek their blessing to ensure their prosperity and their happiness for the coming year. And that all the cleaning, it doubles as a ritual reenactment of cleansing, purifying actions of the monsoon rains, which hopefully have ended by then. Some see Diwali night's lights and firecrackers as fireworks and the sparklers that there as celebratory and symbolic farewell to the departed ancestral souls. The rituals of the Bengali Hindu community center on Kali, the goddess of war, instead of Lakshmi. And in the past, it said in the past they may have also worshipped Lakshmi. They probably did, but somewhere along the line that has morphed into a slightly different celebration. And the rituals of the Jains and the Sikhs are similar to those of the Hindus, where social and community bonds are renewed. Major temples and homes are also decorated with lights. Food is shared with everybody, friends, family. Sometimes it's a community event. Everybody just brings it out for a gigantic, I guess we would in our parlance, a gigantic potluck. And people and friends and relatives, especially children to the elders, are go and visit and they give gifts. So that's today. The fourth day is known as Padwa. And it's the first day of the new year. And for some, It commemorates Krishna's defeat of Indra, the king of the gods, by lifting Govardhan Hill to protect the villagers of Vrindavan from floods brought on by Indra's anger. So what they do on this day is they make a mountain of food to Krishna in remembrance of raising the mountain up, while others make clay and cow dung figures recreating the event. This day also honors the relationship between husbands and wives. And men will usually buy gifts for their wives. Shopkeepers start their new year. It's the fiscal year. The shopkeepers are starting their new year. The Hindu and Sikh community celebrate the fourth day as Vishwakarma Puja Day. Vishwakarma is the presiding Hindu deity for those in architecture, building, manufacturing, and textile and crafts. So the looms, the tools of the trade, machines, and workplaces are clean, and prayers are offered to those who have that way of making their livelihood. The fifth day is called Bahani Juj, Bahai Tika, or Bahai Beach, and it celebrates the love between siblings. I find this one said siblings, and this is the Lord. It is in honor of the Lord Yama and his sister Yami. Sometimes sisters will place a red mark on their brother's forehead, while brothers give gifts to their sisters. In some Hindu traditions, the women recite tales where sisters protect their brothers from enemies that seek to cause him either bodily or spiritual harm. Now, one of my sources said this is between siblings, but the only reference I could ever find was between brothers and sisters. Didn't see anything between brothers or just sisters. So I don't know if that's just an old time thing and things are changing, but the brothers and sisters seem to be the most important at that time. Anyway. But I found it interesting when I'm looking at these holidays and I'm reading about this, how similar these different traditions are. They have their own variations and what they're celebrating or remembering. But there's a similarity across everything. Like when I'm reading about the lights and the gifts and the food, I don't know about you, but I think of Christmas. I mean, it's what we do. We have family, friends, we go, and we're doing that. So it makes me think, if we really study and pay attention to each other and listen to each other, we will see that we really are very much the same, or at least similar. We love our celebrations, and we love our light. We love good food and drink, and friends and families. Both the families, and there are two kinds of families. The ones we're born into, and the ones we choose, such as the family here at the UFP. So thank you, and blessed be. Our closing song is number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. found it absolutely wonderful, every song this morning. Now, for our closing words. Quite a few of you in here weren't here when this happened, but I'm going to take you back to April of last year. That's when I started my story about Ernest Shackleton's endurance expedition to Antarctica. What started as one talk morphed into 4, now into part 5. I know a few of you folks thought that it went on a tad too long, but I found it so fascinating that I just had to share that epic story of perseverance and survival. So why am I bringing it up again? Well, even though those 4 parts started in April and ended in October, which was a span of about 6 months, I found it hard to show how long a time actually passed from when Endurance got stuck in the ice to the final rescue from Elephant Island. And then when I was planning this service, it came to me that I actually was pretty close to that time span. So I decided to check it out. Endurance became stuck in mid-January 1915, and the last of the crew was rescued at the end of August 1916, roughly 20 months. Or from that first service in April 2022 until now, we're just shy of 19 months. Think about all that you as an individual have done and how we as a fellowship have changed since April of 2022. There have been many changes. 3 of our old-time members have died, but we've gained many more and more children. And these people and everybody has given us new ideas and new voices. We can't even remember all the things that have happened. It seems like just a blink of an eye, but it also seems like it was ages ago. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 19 to 20 months. How we will evolve individually and as a fellowship, and how we will change and grow this fellowship family. So I will check back with you in June of 2025. Okay, it is now, we've turned off recording, time to share any joys and hours to closing. We distinguish the quietly. Thank you, everybody, and goodies in the back. You always know when Kate takes off, but that's okay.